Hi, it's Sonia and welcome back to my art channel. This is going to be a landscape sketchbook process. I've sped it up because basically I'm re-editing this and doing a voiceover for it. I am showing some pages from the sketchbook I'm working in. It's my loose sketchbook. It's meant to be deliberately a bit more loose and playful. And yeah, so you can see I've got quite a few. I've still got some still life. It's mainly, I'd say, landscapes. So this one is even playing around, like very expressionistic, playing around with colours. And here is today's reference that I'm working from in this video. And now I'm also showing, that was another landscape process that I have on video where I used 3 colours. Yeah, as I say, I have sped this one up because it took, I don't know what's going on with this video, but it took ages to upload. And I was like, let's try and do it in higher quality, but make it a quicker video. So basically, and also I wanted to rethink about what I was saying as well when I trying to maybe share this process, make this one where I share the process properly is what I'm trying to say. Sometimes I kind of like go off on tangents, which is very easy for me. But we'll start this with really trying to, in case any of you are interested in this sort of loose landscape, this is how I approach it. So here you can see I'm going in first of all with pencil to get my outlines, and I feel I always do the same thing really. It's kind of like guidelines with these type of work. I'm just trying to work out where my sort of big landmarks are, those mountains. And I've even here there's quite a lot of shadow. I think what makes for me this picture is like all the shadow that I can add the snow sort of mauvey tones to. So I'm just marking in where I want those sort of areas to be according to the photo reference. Now, because this is a deliberately loose style page, you'll see I really try to. I mean, I'm working faster because it's sped up, but I am trying to like work fast and spontaneously and not get too bogged down in detail or the actual. This is not in any way meant to be an exact copy or of that photo. It's meant what I'm trying to go for in the sketchbook is I've got a reference, so I'm not like just bringing something out of my head as such. But like I'm trying to also put my own sort of like spin on it and my mark making for the trees and even the sky. Like I want it to be heavy brushwork in some ways. Like it's blatantly a rough and ready painting. But that's the sort of art sometimes that appeals to me. And it's also quite fun to make, and you can fit into your daily life. Like one of the things I was talking about in this sketchbook was how, like I needed to get going. Like, how do you get going when this took me, okay, I've sped this up, so this is like a 13-minute video, but in real life, this took me about half an hour. And so yeah, and partly because it's rough and ready. I'm just going for it with some paint here. You can see, like, really starting to cover up the page with paint. So yeah, and I've also felt like I wanted to do this because one of the previous video to this was like how to keep a sketchbook, and I'm really trying to encourage everybody because I've got so much out of keeping sketchbooks for the last 10 years. How do I like help artists before have motivated me with sharing their sketchbooks? So I'm trying to like, how do I've got to like practice what I preach. I was sort of talking about making it a daily practice. This is how I do fit in sketchbook practice nearly every day, because I can choose the sketchbook I want regarding how much time I have. So it was a weekend, so I didn't have that much time yesterday. So it was like, oh, I'm going to, get half an hour and I'm going to complete a spread. And yeah, as I say, like I was almost tempted to completely delete this video and not have it, but I actually feel I got a lot out of this particular spread because I think I'd probably shy away from snowy, wintry scenes because of the sometimes like how do you represent snow and get a sense of, there's all that whiteness. So I wanted to share this because actually for me, I had fun with it, and it didn't feel too what's the word? I don't think. Well, some may say you could have stopped earlier, Sonia. You've overworked this, but actually, I felt I got it to for half an hour, pretty on balance, a complete piece. And so yeah, so with this, with snow, I guess a lot of the time I'm really squinting. It's probably not great for wrinkles, but I'm really squinting sometimes at my photo reference. I actually like working, this is going to sound a bit strange, I don't know if other artists have said this, but I actually sometimes quite like working off a phone from a photo because it's so small. You can't see all the detail, so you're not going to be like overwhelmed by the visual complexity. So because I film using my phone, I couldn't do that for this piece. So I was working from, I transferred it to my Mac. So it was relatively a big image, but I just even I blur. I just sort of make sure that you're squinting so much that the image is blurred. And then I'm just picking out like the contrasts. I was really looking to make clear, so you got for this, I didn't want that bit of paper where you saw the pink post-it notes with the grey. I guess I was like, in theory, it's sort of a grey blue, but I was like, I'm going to bring out, the whole prerogative, my sketchbook. I'm going to bring out the mauves. I always really like some mauve tones in work for whatever reason. So I sort of added some pinks to highlight the shadows and the, sort of the rolling landscape, as it were. And yeah, then I've been using the other thing that to my right is my palette, and I really, if I'm working fast and loose, I don't know if did I show, I think you may have seen earlier, you do see some, I zoom out so you can see the palette as well, but I didn't even clean that palette. If you need to get going, you don't have much time, I just laid some paint on. I mean, it's gouache. What's the worst that happened? I'm probably going to muddy my colours a bit, but who knows? Maybe I'm going to end up with a combination that's actually a little bit different, and I wouldn't have, thought of doing myself. So I couldn't even tell you which particular colours they were. I just got my tin of gouache paints, and I grabbed, some blues. I think it was a Prussian-y blue that I went for that sky. And mix a lot of white. I think the thing with gouache I end up always using is quite a lot of white in mixtures, like with the greens, just because I feel like I love those sort of whitey pastel-y tones that you can get with gouache. And yeah, I mean, I'm trying trees. Ooh, so these sort of trees, some of these sort of like big as they fir trees, evergreen trees, I can get, luckily there wasn't in this picture any too close to me. But as you can see, I am just literally using some dabs of paint to represent them. So it's a kind of very impressionistic sort of like, and the trunks, I just went in with some ochre. So I felt like at this stage I had got that sort of slopey slant of the scene, and now I'm coming in with my pencil again. The coloured pencil, because that's something I feel is over the last year or two, I think the joy of art is and I spoke about this in the sketchbook video, I think like we change, like our processes, I don't feel, I don't know, maybe some artists do prefer to keep to the same process all their life, but I feel my process is changing, and at the moment I seem to like in these sketchbooks to bring in coloured pencil. I've really got into coloured pencils really in this way. I don't as such do detailed. I don't think I've ever really used coloured pencils by themselves. Maybe I should. That's a good point. Why not? But I love adding them on top of gouache, because because a lot of them work really well on this medium. So you can, like a very light pencil, like a Prismacolor pencil on a dark gouache, you can get some really details in. So here I just wanted to show the scene again so you can see like what it was based off. And yeah, hopefully it's different. I mean, I don't want it to be, as I said, I don't want it to be a copy of a photo. I've got the photo. But I wanted it that sort of painterly. It's a winter scene. You're in the snow, in the mountains. So yeah, and the pencil I find just adds that. I love also adding. I get very excited sometimes about lines. I don't know if any of you do as well. Like, I love, I want to see the lines and the drawing in a painting sometimes. I actually prefer kind of, if I'm honest, I like more the unfinished paintings, the sort of sketchiness, because I feel like you can get a real vigour or sort of energy with sort of like marks, and particularly like what you will see is I'm coming up now after adding the pencil lines in, and I'm going to, oh, okay, so I'm putting some more clouds. Yeah, so for the clouds I went a bit with the greys. I sort of added some bit more grey for the clouds. And then I will come in with oil pastel, and I try and sort of demarcate, sort of, yeah, I was really hoping to try and show those lines for the clouds. I don't know if it will show in this, but we will see. And then also you get to see me muck up, which is always good, isn't it? So this bit here, I don't know what happened here. I think the clouds to the top right hand corner, I think I had to stop, and I was like, I'm just going to let that dry. I can get a bit too impatient. I think if I'm going to, I'm going to criticise myself a little bit here. I would say, because over the years of learning to speed up and work really fast, I sometimes can go too fast, and I don't let things dry, and I will just go over, sometimes I think, whoa, just, you can take a little bit of time and slow down on certain areas. Yep, and then I even added some blues into the snow areas, and I tried to use a bit of yellow pencil as well. Like, I think also if you really squint, sometimes I feel like you can see sort of the, for the sun, or that sort of a bit of yellow. And here, yeah, so then at the clouds, I think you can just see the oil pastel lines I've added for the clouds, which that's kind of like, my taste. I think it's trying to impart, I guess, my taste, and that's the taste of the day, because I make such different work. This is today's piece. Tomorrow's piece may be in my gouache moleskin sketchbook, and it could be really trying to get more into the scene, and it to be like a sort of a memory, an illustration type gouache sketch. But this was, I guess, sort of a fast one, and also the sort of work I was thinking I like to do, because if I was to do some maybe landscapes on canvas, could I combine those sort of elements as well to make it like the sort of painterly? And this is the final bit, isn't it? Yep, so I'm coming in with, I just tried to add the snow machine and add a little bit of fluorescent yellow. Whether that shows, I'm not sure. Okay, so as I say, this was, I've hopefully, here I'm just amending. So this is the beauty of gouache. You can go back over with white, and I'm happy with that area now. So yeah, I hope maybe if this is helpful for someone else who's into like loose gouache painting. Thank you as always for watching my videos, and yeah, I will see you next time. Bye.